Picture this. You sit down at a bright Las Vegas Strip diner, neon lights flashing through the window. You order a burger, fries, and a cocktail, only to see the bill balloon from $60 to nearly $100 after fees you didn't know existed. Families stare at their receipts in disbelief. Tourists whisper, "Never again." And locals? They're avoiding the Strip altogether. What happened to the city once famous for $9.99 prime rib and $1 shrimp cocktails? Today we're counting down 9 reasons why dining in Las Vegas has become unaffordable. And trust me, number 2 will shock even longtime Vegas fans. Number 9. The menu sticker shock. Once upon a time, Las Vegas dining was part of the magic. Prime rib dinners under $10, shrimp cocktails for $1, buffets so abundant they seemed endless. Food was part of the show, a promise of indulgence without the guilt of a massive bill. But in 2025, that magic is gone. Open any Strip menu and the numbers hit harder than the neon lights outside. A basic burger with fries? $26. A Caesar salad? $18. A single cocktail? $22. Before tax. Before fees. And if you wander into a celebrity chef's restaurant, entrees that used to be comfort food now flirt with the $70 to $90 range. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, restaurant prices in Las Vegas have jumped 35% since 2019, outpacing the national average by nearly 10%. And this isn't limited to Michelin star fine dining. Casual sit-down restaurants now price sandwiches at $16 to $20. Even chain outlets tack on a Strip premium. Food courts, once known for cheap eats, are charging $15 for a basic meal. For a family of 4, a simple lunch can easily hit $200. Multiply that across a 3-day trip, and food alone rivals the cost of airfare. The frustration is boiling over online. TripAdvisor threads are filled with disbelief. Yelp reviews warn future visitors. TikToks go viral showing receipts. $100 for 2 burgers and fries, no drinks included. Tourists expect to spend in Vegas, but not like this, not for meals that would cost half elsewhere. And it's not just the dollars, it's the sense of betrayal. Las Vegas built its reputation on accessible indulgence. Big plates, small prices, the idea that anyone could feel like royalty for a weekend. Today, the illusion has cracked. Dining feels less like a perk and more like a punishment. But as shocking as the sticker prices are, what really infuriates diners is what comes after the meal. Charges that weren't even on the menu. And that's where the real gut punch begins. Number 8. The hidden surcharges. If the sticker shock wasn't bad enough, the real ambush happens when the bill arrives. In 2025 Las Vegas, the menu price is only the starting bid, like a teaser in a high-stakes poker game. You think you're paying $80 for dinner, but the check tells a different story. Suddenly, that $80 magically transforms into $120, without you adding dessert or drinks. Here's how it happens. Automatic gratuities of 18 to 20%, even if you're just a party of 2. A mysterious kitchen appreciation fee of 5%. A wellness surcharge of 2%. An entertainment fee of $3.99, even when no band is playing. Layer on sales tax, and the illusion of a fair price collapses right before your eyes. Restaurants defend these add-ons, arguing they help cover rising wages, skyrocketing food costs, and energy bills. But for customers, it feels like deception. The menu already lists premium prices, so why tack on secret extras? One diner wrote online, "They don't just charge you for the food, they charge you for the privilege of ordering it." That quote went viral because it perfectly captures the psychology of these hidden surcharges. They don't just take your money, they take your trust. And it's not limited to celebrity hotspots. Strip-side diners, casual cafes, Even fast casual chains now slip in service recovery charges. According to a 2025 consumer survey, 42% of Vegas visitors reported being surprised by dining fees they hadn't agreed to. For many, that was the breaking point. People can tolerate high prices if they're transparent. What infuriates them is feeling tricked. This nickel and diming creates a new psychology. Guests leave not just poorer, but angrier. They vent on Yelp. They warn their friends. They swear off Vegas altogether. And once that perception spreads, that dining in Vegas is less about indulgence and more about being squeezed, the damage isn't just financial. It corrodes the city's image. And the irony? These fees are creeping in just as portion sizes are shrinking. Diners aren't only paying more than they expected, they're getting less than they used to. And that combination feels like a betrayal of the Vegas promise. So let's talk about that next. How Vegas, once the land of bigger is better, is now serving up smaller plates with bigger bills. Number 7. Shrinkflation on the Strip. Las Vegas used to thrive on a single promise. Bigger was always better. Bigger jackpots, bigger shows, bigger plates of food that dared you to finish them. But walk into a Strip restaurant in 2025, and the story looks very different. The bun now dwarfs the burger patty. The pasta bowl arrives half empty. Even buffets, once symbols of abundance, ration servings like a wartime cafeteria. This phenomenon has a name: shrinkflation. Portions shrink, but prices hold steady, or worse, climb higher. According to a 2025 hospitality industry report, average entree sizes in Las Vegas restaurants have dropped 18% since 2019. At the same time, prices have surged nearly 40%. The math is simple. You're paying more for less food. Tourists are noticing, and they're not quiet about it. Yelp and Reddit are flooded with before and after photos. Shrimp cocktails that once overflowed a glass now arrive looking more like appetizers for children. Buffet steak slices that resemble samples rather than meals. Cocktails served in smaller glasses, heavy on ice, light on actual alcohol. The issue isn't only value, it's psychology. Vegas has always sold indulgence. All-you-can-eat crab legs, towering sundaes, never-ending shrimp. It was about excess, the feeling that for one weekend you could live without restraint. Shrinkflation flips that story on its head. A travel blogger summed it up perfectly. Vegas used to feel generous. Now it feels stingy. And that stinginess cuts deeper than a small portion. It chips away at the city's identity. Because when guests leave hungry after spending $100, they don't just blame the restaurant. They start to question whether the Vegas experience itself is still worth it. The neon glow and dancing fountains can't distract from a plate that looks half-finished. Even worse, shrinkflation doesn't come with a discount. Diners expect smaller plates at trendy tapas bars or high-end tasting menus, but not at everyday cafes and buffets built on the promise of plenty. When indulgence turns into rationing, the betrayal is personal. And here's the kicker: this isn't just a restaurant quirk. The logic that created hated resort fees in hotels is now creeping into dining rooms. And once you see how those charges get recycled, you'll understand why trust in Vegas dining is evaporating fast. Number 6. Resort fee logic extends to dining. Las Vegas hotels practically invented the resort fee, that infuriating charge tacked onto your room bill, supposedly covering amenities you never asked for. In 2025, that same playbook has migrated into the dining scene, and it's leaving diners stunned. Imagine this. You order 2 entrees and a bottle of wine, thinking the damage will be around $120. The bill arrives and bam, there's a mysterious venue fee or resort dining surcharge. At one strip steakhouse, customers reported a 5% resort charge on every meal. At another, a $7 live entertainment fee, even when no music was playing. Some restaurants simply list facility fee, a vague catch-all that inflates the bill without explanation. The logic mirrors the hotel industry. Create a baseline fee that boosts revenue without technically raising menu prices. For the restaurants, it's easy math. For the customer, it feels like a tax on simply sitting down. And it adds up fast. A couple enjoying dinner and drinks can see their total climb $40 to $50 higher before tip and tax. The backlash is fierce. Diners are comparing the practice to budget airlines, where everything costs extra. Baggage, seat selection, even water. As one reviewer quipped, Vegas restaurants are turning into Spirit Airlines with tablecloths. Everything has a fee except the oxygen. What makes this worse is how widespread it's becoming. This isn't confined to luxury steakhouses. Mid-tier cafes, poolside grills, and casual strip eateries are all experimenting with venue fees. Guests no longer pay just for what they order. They pay for where they order it. And the psychological effect is corrosive. Dining in Vegas used to be carefree, indulgent, part of the show. Now, guests sit down with calculators, trying to anticipate hidden costs. The moment a diner feels tricked, the magic dies. The Strip isn't about generosity anymore. It's about gamesmanship, and not the fun kind. But perhaps the biggest betrayal of all? The collapse of a Vegas dining tradition that once defined the city's soul. The legendary buffet. And when you see what's happened there, you'll understand why even long-time loyal visitors are questioning whether Vegas has lost its identity. Number 5. Buffets are dying. For decades, the buffet wasn't just another dining option in Las Vegas. It was the beating heart of the city's food culture. Piles of crab legs, endless shrimp cocktails, prime rib carving stations that felt like they'd never close. Buffets embodied the Vegas promise. Indulgence without limits, abundance without guilt. And best of all, they were affordable. A family could eat like royalty for under $20. But in 2025, the Vegas buffet is on life support. Many of the classics never reopened after the pandemic, and those that survived have transformed into luxury experiences with price tags to match. Caesar's Bacchanal Buffet now runs $79 per person on weekdays and over $100 on weekends. Wynn's Buffet? As high as $120 during peak hours. For a family of 4, that's nearly $500 for one meal. And what do you get for that splurge? Not the overflowing abundance of yesteryear. Premium dishes are rationed, crab legs arrive in smaller trays, lines stretch long before guests even reach the carving station. The once democratic spirit of the buffet, where penny slot players and high rollers dined side by side, has been replaced by exclusivity. Buffets now feel like a luxury reserved for the few willing to spend like high rollers. The numbers confirm the decline. According to the Nevada Restaurant Association, the number of active buffets in Las Vegas has dropped by more than 60% since 2017. What was once the city's most iconic dining format is rapidly disappearing. For tourists, it feels like betrayal. The buffet wasn't just about food, it was about identity. Without it, Vegas feels less generous, less accessible, less Vegas. And it's not just the tourists mourning the loss. Locals who once treated buffets as weekend staples are being priced out too. The communal experience of piling plates high, laughing at the sheer excess, has given way to sticker shock and disappointment. So where do budget-conscious visitors turn now? Many head to fast food or quick service spots, hoping for relief. But here's the cruel twist. Even fast food in Las Vegas has climbed to strip-level pricing. And when McDonald's starts to feel like fine dining, you know something has gone very, very wrong. Number 4. Fast food isn't cheap anymore. Once upon a time, fast food was the safety net of a Vegas trip. Couldn't afford the steakhouse? Skip the buffet and grab a burger. Hungry after a show? A quick stop at McDonald's or Taco Bell would fill you up without draining your wallet. It wasn't glamorous, but it was predictable. And most importantly, it was affordable. Not anymore. In 2025, even fast food in Las Vegas carries strip-level pricing. A Big Mac combo at McDonald's goes for $16.89. A large pizza from a chain outlet can easily top $28. A Starbucks venti latte? Nearly $9. These aren't exaggerations. They're receipts tourists post online with captions like, "This costs more than dinner back home." Why so high? 3 reasons. First, rent on the Strip is among the most expensive retail real estate in the nation, and those costs trickle down into your burrito or burger. Second, labor costs have surged, with Nevada's minimum wage pushing higher. And third, chains know tourists are trapped inside the resort bubble. If you're hungry at midnight, you're not walking 2 miles off Strip for cheaper tacos. You're paying whatever's on the board. Locals have noticed, too. A Las Vegas Review-Journal survey captured the frustration. Fast food used to be the break. Now it feels like fine dining without the tablecloth. And it's not confined to the Strip. Tourist-heavy zones off the Strip mirror the same trend. A simple burrito or sandwich can easily cross the $15 threshold. The illusion of cheap eats in Vegas is gone. For families, this shift hits hardest. Parents who once stretched trips by relying on fast food now face the same sticker shock they'd expect at a sit-down restaurant. For locals, the squeeze is even worse. Workers who once grabbed quick lunches on break now find themselves spending half an hour's wage on a fast food combo. And when even McDonald's feels out of reach, the frustration spreads beyond visitors. It reshapes the city itself. Because if tourists can shrug it off and leave, locals don't have that option. Which brings us to the next painful reality: the crushing impact of Vegas dining costs on the very people who call this city home. Number 3. The impact on locals. Tourists can complain, cut their trips short, or choose another city. But locals, they don't get to walk away. For families living in Clark County, the rising cost of dining out has turned what was once a treat into a calculation, and for many, into a burden. Lunch specials that hovered around $9.99 just a few years ago now sit at $18 to $20. A casual family dinner at Chili's, Olive Garden, or Applebee's, easily $100 or more, and that's without alcohol. Even grocery bills aren't offering relief. Food-at-home prices are up nearly 21% since 2020. For working-class residents, eating out is no longer indulgence, it's math. Consider the construction worker making $24 an hour. One lunch on the Strip can equal half his day's pay. A hotel housekeeper supporting a family of 4? A simple Friday night pizza night now feels like a luxury splurge. Families are adjusting by cooking more at home, skipping restaurants entirely, or even driving to nearby Henderson or Boulder City in search of cheaper meals. The shift isn't just personal, it's reshaping neighborhoods. Off-strip restaurants that once thrived on loyal local clientele are struggling. Their costs, ingredients, insurance, utilities, are climbing just as fast, forcing them to raise prices. But every increase drives more locals away. It's a vicious cycle. Higher prices chase customers out, leaving businesses with fewer sales and even tighter margins. And the psychology is shifting too. Dining out used to be Vegas's great equalizer, the small indulgence everyone could share. Now it feels like a dividing line between those who can afford it and those who can't. Locals who once felt pride in their city's abundance are starting to resent it. When a housekeeper can't take her kids to a buffet she once considered tradition, something deeper breaks. The irony is painful. Las Vegas, a city built on service workers, is pricing out the very people who keep it running. And when locals lose faith in their own town, the city's identity starts to crack. But what makes this worse is the betrayal of the city's founding promise, that in Vegas, indulgence was for everyone. And that promise, as we'll see next, has been shattered beyond recognition. Number 2. The broken promise of affordable indulgence. Las Vegas was never about moderation. It was about more food, more lights, more fantasy. For decades, the city's dining scene was the perfect metaphor for its spirit, indulgence that felt within reach. Steak and eggs at 2 a.m. for $4.99, shrimp cocktails for $1, prime rib dinners under $20. And, of course, the free cocktail delivered with a smile just for sitting at a blackjack table. That was the promise. Come to Vegas and live larger than life, even if your wallet was thin. But in 2025, that promise is broken. What was once a $20 prime rib is now $65. A $10 breakfast? Now $28 with coffee. That free drink while gambling? It's replaced by a $20 cocktail, plus tax, plus a service fee, plus tip. Instead of generosity, visitors encounter nickel and diming at every corner. Instead of abundance, they see scarcity dressed up in neon. The damage isn't only financial, it's psychological. When travelers feel tricked, they stop trusting the city itself. A place once synonymous with generosity now feels like it runs on greed. Online travel reviews reveal the sentiment clearly. Visitors describe Las Vegas not as dazzling or indulgent, but as a scam. Not because the fountain stopped dancing or the lights dimmed, but because even the basics, food, drinks, a simple meal, feel like traps. And that's dangerous. Vegas doesn't just compete with Reno or Atlantic City. It competes with everywhere. San Diego, Orlando, Phoenix. When eating out in Vegas feels worse than eating out at home, people simply stay home or spend their vacation dollars elsewhere. The broken promise isn't about one burger, one buffet, or one overpriced cocktail. It's about the collapse of an illusion. The illusion that here, for a weekend, you could be someone bigger, live without limits, indulge without hesitation. Without that illusion, Las Vegas loses more than customers. It loses its story. And when a city loses its story, even the brightest lights begin to dim. Which brings us to the most devastating truth of all. The consequence that no casino, no marketing campaign, and no neon marquee can hide. Number 1. Tourists are walking away. The Strip still glows. The fountains at Bellagio still dance. The marquees still flash promises of indulgence. But beneath the dazzle, a quiet rebellion is unfolding. Tourists are walking away from Las Vegas dining, not just cutting back, but abandoning the city's food scene altogether. According to Expedia's 2025 travel survey, 54% of Vegas visitors said they spent less on food than planned, not because they wanted to save, but because prices felt unreasonable. The ripple effects are striking. Reservation bookings at top Strip restaurants are slipping. Buffets that once packed in thousands are thinning out. Even casual dining, long considered a guaranteed cash cow, is posting year-over-year declines for the first time in over a decade. Visitors aren't just skipping meals, they're changing habits. Some are driving to Henderson or Summerlin for more affordable dinners. Others are sticking to off-strip diners where the math feels less painful. Many are skipping the sit-down experience entirely, surviving on gas station snacks or splitting a single entree between two people. And when food, one of the simplest joys of travel, becomes a burden, the entire trip feels compromised. A tourist may still see a cirque show or hit the blackjack table, But if every meal feels like a scam, the overall impression of the trip sours. And here's the problem. Disappointed visitors don't come back. Vegas has always relied on repeat travelers, those who made it an annual tradition, a rite of passage, or even a second home. If those visitors stop returning, the city loses more than revenue. It loses loyalty. It loses its core identity. The perception of Las Vegas has shifted. Once it was the city where indulgence was accessible to anyone. Now it risks being seen as a city where indulgence feels out of touch. And in a world full of vacation alternatives, that's a dangerous position. Because without the promise of eating well, living well, and indulging freely, Vegas risks becoming just another overpriced destination. And if there's one thing Vegas has never been, it's ordinary. So, there you have it. The truth behind why nobody can afford to dine in Las Vegas anymore. It's not just about high prices, but the death of generosity. What do you think? Has Vegas lost its soul, or is this just inflation? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe.